Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to create this text hover effect on Wix Studio. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to add a container to our section here. Then I'm going to turn on the advanced sizing. I'm going to give it a min height of 44 pixels, and I'm also going to just drag this down to 44 pixels as well. And I'm going to make this a little less long. Let's go with 200. And we're also going to give this a min width of 200. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add a paragraph. I'm going to change this text to prepare to take off. I'm going to turn on the advanced sizing and make this take up 100% of the width. And I'm also going to align it to the center and line it to the center of this container. Next, what we're going to actually do is I'm going to turn on coding quickly. We can close that, and with our text selected, I'm going to click on the three dots, go to accessibility, add attribute, and we're going to go with aria hidden, and we're going to set this to true. This is so that this text won't show up to screen readers. Then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that text. Then we will put in the text we want for that one. And I'm going to adjust that so it's in the same position for the moment. And we also want to give that an aria hidden as well, which is already done because I've duplicated it. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add a button, and I'm going to set this button to take up 100% of the width and 100%, a min height of 100%, and we're going to make sure that is on top of everything. Next, we're going to turn the background opacity down to 0, and we're also going to set the font size to 0. Now we'll change the text on this button. This text here is what the screen readers will see. So if it's being to send a message, you can just change it to send message or whatever the button does. Next, with the button selected, we're going to go over to the animation and effects, and we want to click on the hover and add hover, and we want this to actually be on one of the texts. I'm not sure which one that's on at the moment. We'll find out in a second. Can we do it that way instead? Yeah, right. That one is the one we want. This should be our first text that's always going to be there that rotates upwards. So we're going to create a custom animation. For this, I'm going to have it scale by 150 and 150. I'm going to have the opacity go to 0, and I want this to move. We want this to move up by 50 pixels. So now if we click done, now if we click preview, you can see when we hover the button, that text goes up to the top and disappears. With that button selected, need to turn off the current hover effect. There. Now if we hover, we'll just see the text underneath. Next, what we've got to do is, with that button selected again, we want to go to the hover animations and we want to add another hover animation. I'm going to choose on canvas again, and this time we want the other message. I'm going to click on custom, create custom animation. This time we're actually going to affect the initial state first. We want the initial state to be 50 pixels away from the container, and we want the scale to be 150 and 150. We want the opacity to be 0. Click done. We need to click change animation. Now we want it to reset everything back to 0, which it already has. Click done. Now if we click those away and click preview and we hover over that, we can see the two items coming in and out to give that nice effect. But what I will do first is, with this container selected, I'm going to give this an overflow of hide so that the text won't be able to be interacted with outside of the container. To affect the color of the container, we want to select our container. You can set the color to whatever you want to set it to, and then we can go to hover, add the hover, the color, click adjust animation, and we have the color go to that other blue. So now when we hover, we get that popping in. If we duplicate this container, delete the text there, and you can always add an icon in instead, and you would just create the animation the same way to the size you want your icon. Get that into the position, and then you would give it the same with the button selected. You would select the basic shape and give it the same settings as we had a minute ago. So we want the initial state, opacity 0, size 150, 150, and 50 or 60. You might have to fiddle around with that number a little bit when you're using icons. And then the animated state would be the same as normal, and that gives you the effect with a icon instead. Now, I hope you have found this video useful. If you've got any questions, please ask down below. Thank you for watching.